And now the man with the power, the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour. It is Dallas Mavericks general manager Nico Harrison. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thanks for the intro.
Absolutely. I feel like if this didn't work out, hype man is
very personalized.
Might be my true calling
like
right
it.
there. We're really curious, whether it's about a specific player or whatever, did this play out as plan A as you hoped it would, or was there a player that perhaps if they would have been available at 10, you would have pulled the trigger on that pick?
Ooh, that's a dicey question. This actually played out in one of our scenarios. So when it did, we were prepared for it. I'm not trying to be super bland, but we really were excited to get Lively. What he adds to our team, just shot blocking, defense, rebounding, a rim runner, someone who can pick and roll with Luka. It worked out perfectly.
And I promise this is my last question about that, and then I'll move on just out of curiosity. If Taylor Hendricks wouldn't have been taken at 9, do you believe you might have made that selection?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
Nico, I think you did a hell of a job with the organization last night, getting the 12th pick, the 24th pick, and getting Richaun Holmes. After you make the trade to go down to 12, were you 100% confident that Derek Lively would be there at 12 and nobody would take him at 11? And then how fast were you trying to get another pick in this draft?
Yeah, so I wasn't 100% confident, but I was extremely confident that if it didn't turn out how I planned, I would have liked the results, and that was the reason for doing it. So you're never 100% because you can't really, you think but somebody could have came and done something unexpectedly. But we knew what the options were, and we were willing to roll the dice and take that risk.
And when you got that done and then you make the pick of Derek Lively, you get the trade exception. How confident were you after you make the pick that you're going to immediately be able to use that to pick up another player in this draft?
We weren't confident. We liked Omax from the beginning. We even looked at taking him, higher than where we did. And we just started exploring options like, hey, can we get back in this draft? We really like this kid. And a lot had to happen because we didn't know that he would even fall where he did. So we just kind of ran the gamut and got lucky.
There's kind of some conversation about the Holmes edition, the Richaun Holmes edition, and it's like, well, he's not quite the same guy. What's the expectation for him when he walks in the doors of y'all's facility?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not even allowed to talk about the other players. The NBA has strict rules, so I want to be a good soldier and not get fined.
Gotcha. Well, we don't want to get you in trouble. Nope. Then you won't come back. You'll be like, that's a show where I get fined. So I don't want that.
No. I would never blame you guys. I know the rules. It's on me.
All right. So then let me kind of ask, when you're drafting, when you're looking at guys to put on this team, how much of it is, well, we want to put them around Luka, and also knowing where Kyrie is in his contract situation, or are you saying, hey, this works well with Kyrie as well?
Yeah, I think the player, we have that in mind. We've told everybody we want to re-sign Kyrie, so we have the players in mind, but we feel like the players that we're going to get will work regardless of who shows up. And one of the things, we've been adamant about wanting to shore up is our defense, our athleticism and rebounding. And so both those gentlemen address that in a high way.
And you had made the quote the other day about if it's not addressed properly, and I feel like this is a heck of a first step. But since you were talking about Kyrie and the potential for a contract extension, I was actually curious about another player. Is the option on Reggie Bullock becoming fully guaranteed in less than a week? Can you tell us anything about if you anticipate that option being all the way picked up so his deal is fully guaranteed for this next year?
Another one of those things I can't talk about. But we like Reggie. We think he has done a great job for the team, and that's probably about as much as I could say about it.
So, Nico, after you guys take Omax Prosper, I'm going to be honest, I didn't know who he was. I watch a little bit of college basketball, not a ton, but I go and watch his 2 tournament games last year, just a few months ago, and the Michigan State game just completely stood out, and I fell in love with him. How do you see him possibly contributing his rookie year in the NBA?
I think he's going to get on the floor because of his defense and athleticism, and I think we're going to develop his offense to go along with that. But he can shoot the ball. But the main thing he's going to bring is elite level defense and elite level athleticism, and he's a beautiful human being. Actually, both the guys we drafted they're culture guys. They're going to be great in the locker room. They're going to add to the culture. Really amazing kids, both of them.
I'm hoping you can help us out from a scouting and development standpoint, because you just said something that I think is spot on, but really interesting, is Omax's ability to shoot. He has a good-looking stroke, but the results from 3 in college are not there. How do you determine, like, hey, we can fix that even if the numbers say not a great three-point shooter?
Yeah, I think, and that's why I really emphasize that he's going to get on the floor with defense, and then we're going to develop the shot. He can shoot fine. His mechanics are good. It's even improved since college. So I think that's going to continue to improve, and then with confidence and more repetitions, he'll be able to do it at the NBA level. But the most important thing is elite level athleticism and defense. That will get him on the floor immediately.
So I know that basketball's become more positionless, and I look at Omax, and I know we'll get back into Derek Lively too, the higher pick, but he didn't care who he had to guard in the games I watched. He would guard the point guard. He would guard the center. He would know where help defense is. And I find that really rare. And I'm wondering, in your time so far watching guys in college, how rare it is that he knows his help. He knows where his guy is, and he knows where the ball is at all times. I sometimes watch college basketball and go, gosh, have they not taught these kids that you're supposed to know where your guy is and the ball is at all times? And he seems to be locked in on that at all times.
Yeah, he's what they call active defender. You know, he's always moving. When the ball moves, he's moving, and that's the key to being a good defender. With the amazing offensive players in the NBA, you're not going to stop everybody, but when you're active, you give yourself a chance.
Now, one of the things I noticed watching Derek Lively was that he can run the floor. He can push up the court, and I know Luka gave the immaculate quote last year of, well, we don't run a lot because I'm slow. And I'm kind of curious how that kind of works with it, but we also have seen the body that Luka's showing off right now. Is there more of a concerted effort to be kind of we're pushing the ball next year?
I think, you know what, I think it's good. We need to play both ways. We need to be able to play in a half court, but then we also need to be able to take advantage and run. And you know, Luka's an amazing passer, so he doesn't necessarily need to run the ball up for us to run. But we need to make sure that we got guys that can run along with the ball. Because honestly, the fastest way to get the ball up the court is through passing it, and he's the best passer in the NBA.
And you think Lively has that kind of ability to work with that pretty early on in his career?
Yeah, he's another guy. I think, you know, athleticism, shot blocking, and defense is going to get him on the floor immediately, and then we'll develop him, you know, along the way so that he'll become a good offensive player.
How much of that that leads, great question, Corey, and that great answer.
Thank you, Kevin.
That leads
that.
perfectly into what I was curious about is how do you break down in terms of like, hey, this is what we saw in AAU. Hey, this is what we saw his freshman year at Duke, because I watch a lot of Duke basketball and
he's a huge Duke fan, by the way.
That is true. So thank you very much for making this happen. But I have to admit, I didn't see a lot of Lively in AAU where people talked about his three-point shot, or I didn't see in the workouts where people talked about his three-point shot. So how do you balance that out of, hey, we've seen it, just maybe not at the collegiate level?
Yeah, good question. You know what? I think college is different. In AAU, they probably let you, you're the best player, they let you do whatever. A lot of times in college, they kind of put you in a box and, you know, don't really let you expand on your game. But for us, it was less about the shooting, because what attracted us to him was his length, athleticism, and defense. And so we feel like that gets him on the floor. And then now, okay, we can develop your offense.
Nico, when it comes to probably the last decade, like the biggest change in a body ever was what you saw from Giannis in his first year to about his third year in the NBA and what he had done physically in the weight room. And I know talking to people who love Derek Lively said, hey, we're going to change his body. We're going to get him stronger. How quickly can that happen? Can it happen as quickly as Giannis was? I know we call him the freak. Is he also just a freak workout guy where very few guys want to work out that hard to change their body that quickly? Or do you believe that Lively can change his body as quickly as Giannis did?
Yeah, I don't know about changing his body as quickly as Giannis, but I do believe that he's a hard worker. And I think it's really, we need to put some weight on him, but also strength. And that just will help his defense and help his rebounding. And he doesn't have to gain a lot of weight to improve his strength. So, we got the best in the business. So I'm fully confident that our strength and conditioning guys will be able to start him out this summer and get him ready.
All right, can you kind of tell us a little bit about their personalities? Because you said that Omax he's a beautiful person, and we at some point.
And also, do you call him Omax already?
Yeah, and we're at that point now. Like we would like to talk to these guys at some point. What about their personalities? Can we start digging in on here?
Yeah, Omax. So he'll light up the room. Super charismatic, beautiful smile. He looks just like his mother. When we watched him work out in L.A., I went to his mother, and I was like, I know exactly who your son is. I mean, they look identical. They got the exact same smile. Extremely humble person, hardworking team person. Just the way he talks about wanting to win and wanting to work hard. It's just after it's like, okay, where do I sign up? Let's go. Like, that's just the type of person he is.
And then for Lively, I guess I was curious. The same question is, and he has a rough upbringing in terms of losing his dad, his mom having cancer. Like, that feels like that would make a person stronger, but you clearly know him better. What about his personality?
Yeah, the thing about him is a lot of these kids, you want to see, how can they deal with adversity? And he's dealt with a lot. He's dealt with a lot of adversity and always overcame it. So, when a rough patch happens, he's not going to shy away from it. He's going to plow through it, and he's done that. Even at Duke, he didn't start off, for as highly recruited as he was, he didn't start off that good. But what he did was he went back to the lab, he started working harder, and then results came. And so that really excites me about him, that if he doesn't get overnight success, he's going to continue to work and fight through it.
So I know that July 1st comes, and I know you talked about Kyrie Irving and how hopeful you guys are to re-sign him and keep him a Dallas Maverick. How much, now that the draft is over, that you are making as many phone calls as possible to either free agents or possible trade candidates to keep improving the team? Because Michael Finley kind of said last night, Derek Lively doesn't solve all of our issues. We have more to go.
Absolutely, and Michael's correct. But we aren't calling free agents, because if we do that, we're going to end up in jail. But we're definitely locked in, just like we were to the draft. We're locking into free agency, and we've actually been doing both at the same time. So now we'll just put all our energy and effort into free agency.
And I know you are focused on your own team, but do you ever alter strategy whatsoever based on what other teams are doing, what other Western Conference teams do in the draft, in free agency, and everything like that?
I think we have to focus on ourselves right now. I think if we were like one piece away from, getting to where we want to go, we probably could, look at what other people are doing. But really, it's like, how do we make ourselves better? Then we can worry about the competition. But the best thing for us to do to worry about the competition is worry about getting ourselves right.
Nico, the other day, Kendrick Perkins said that he heard that Jonathan Kuminga had grown up to 7'2". If you hear a guy grew like 7 inches in like one off season, would you be like, hold on,
when
what's
they were
going
20?
on here? Yeah. What would be your thoughts immediately?
Okay, so you're quoting Perks now, huh?
Yeah, just a little bit.
I still can't believe Denver won the
Hold on, I'm
championship
sorry.
with that chump Jokic. So
After you said you were quoting Perk, I didn't even hear the question. I just started laughing. So what was your question?
He kind of got fooled. He heard that Jonathan Kuminga had grown like 7 inches in an offseason, and he was like, oh, yeah, he completely believed it. But I have a feeling that Nico would be like, I have to go check this out first before I just believe what I hear.
Yeah, I'd have to check it out. That seems a lot.
And then,
but, hey, you got to check the person he's quoting.
You have thoughts on Perk then, huh?
Hey, no. By the way, for the record, I love Perk. He's awesome.
and then Nico Harrison joining us right now. After the draft was over, obviously you start making phone calls to add to your summer league team or possibly add to your future Dallas Maverick team. Can you talk a little bit about the TCU point guard that you guys have?
Yeah, we like him. It's really cool that, you get somebody local that the fans already know, but can also play at a high level. And so, he can make shots and defend. And so we think he'll be a great addition to our summer league team. And it'll be fun to start his pro career and see what he can do.
Will Jaden Hardy play summer league this year?
Yes, he will. He will.
And then
summer league's going to be a must watch.
you guys also picked up Jordan Walker from UAB, who his nickname is Jelly, and you got O-Max. Do you call these players those specific names or by their actual names?
Yeah, O-Max, I call him O-Max. And Jelly, I will call him Jelly. I haven't officially called him Jelly to his face yet, but I will when I see him.
It's on the way.
I look forward to that. And if you could find a player with a nickname Peanut Butter, I think that would be amazing. Just something to consider for the future. Thank you very much, good sir.
Real quick, Nico, your roommate Omar says hello.
Oh, gosh. He's probably listening. Omar, I'll call you later.
Well, we didn't embarrass you or him with stories
That's
or
for
anything
later.
like that.
Yeah, we'll do that later.
And heck of a job last night. It's at times easy for Mavericks fans to get kind of, kind of jaded, but I thought a heck of an effort last night. So thank you very much for that, and thank you for jumping on the program.
No, thanks for having me, and it was great to bring a little energy and joy to the city for the night.